right across the country, people are waking up this morning to some very, very bad news. Two reports were published late last night, the first by daft.ie and the second by myhome.ie, and they're quarter two 2021 house price reports. And what they show is in the last 12 months, house prices have continued to spiral upwards. Across the state, there's a 13% increase in house prices, according to Daft. That's about an extra €33,000 to buy a home today than if you were buying the same property this time last year. Average house prices across the state are approaching 300,000. And in Dublin, depending on where you live, the average house prices can be anything from 330,000 up as much as 600,000 euros. We know COVID-19 is one of the causes. The temporary closure of construction obviously had a big impact, but it's not the only reason. This housing affordability crisis has been going on for quite some time. Some of the decisions that the new government took last year have made things worse, increasing the Help to Buy grant led directly to house price inflation and families paying an extra 10% more than what they would have done. But the real big failure of government, of course, is its failure to directly invest in genuinely affordable homes. If you look at the detail of the reports today, particularly the daft.e report, you'll see in many counties, double-digit and high double-digit house price inflation, 17, 18, 19%, in some counties, as much as 20% house price increases. We haven't seen anything like that, not since the Celtic Tiger days, and clearly we don't want to be going back there. But really, until the government starts to directly invest and build thousands of affordable homes to rent or buy, this crisis is going to continue. Many in the private sector are going to be slow to return to the rates of building, modest and all as they were before COVID. And therefore, the state really needs to step in. And while Sinn Féin has been saying that for quite some time, many others have now joined us. The Economic and Social Research Institute, the National Treasury Management Agency are all saying now is the time for government to borrow, to directly invest in the delivery of large volumes of affordable homes. Probably the clearest example of government failure is in the Poolbeg Strategic Development Zone site in Ringsend, an Irish town. This was a symbol, I suppose, of the hubris of the Celtic Tiger, the glass bottle site being bought by Bernard McNamara and a consortium for about €400 million. And of course, when the Celtic Tiger crash happened, that site lost half its value and was transferred into NAMA. Since then, Dublin City Council and the elected members have done a great job. They've produced a strategic development zone master plan. And crucially, thanks to really, really strong campaigning by the Irish Glass Bottle Housing Action Group, made up of local residents from Ringsend and Irish Town, they included a provision for 15% of the homes on that site to be genuinely affordable. That's in addition to the 10% social housing that they would already have to provide. Dublin City Council then went to NAMA to try and get NAMA to agree to sell land to Dublin City Council at a discount. NAMA agreed, but amazingly, the Department of Housing and the then Minister for Housing, Owen Murphy, whose constituency this land was in, refused to fund it. And because the local authority couldn't get their hands on the land, they couldn't be the developers. The land was then sold to the Johnny Ronan Real Estate Group, who are about to put in a planning permission for the SDZ. What that means is, because Fine Gael, as per usual, chose a private sector delivery model, those houses are going to be far too expensive for local working people unless government steps in and intervenes. And of course, the only way government will step in and intervene is if people send a very, very, very clear signal in the Dublin Bay South by-election that they want government housing policy to change. For far too long, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have been giving the private sector its own way. They've been giving them sweetheart land deals, sweetheart tax deals, and over-relying on the private sector to meet housing needs. That's why we're seeing the figures that we're seeing today in the daft.ie report. That's why thousands and thousands of people across the state are unable to rent or buy an affordable home. So what do we need? We need the government to step in the Glass Bottle site in Ringsend and Irish Town, and in so many other sites, and directly fund our local authorities, and in some cases approved housing bodies and community housing trusts to deliver large volumes of good quality affordable homes alongside good infrastructure such as public transport, schools, parks, and cultural and sporting amenities. So look, if you think the government is doing the wrong thing, if, like me, you believe that today's bad news from daft.ie and myhome.ie is a result of years of bad Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael housing policy, then you are able to do something to change that if you live in Dublin Bay South. If you elect Lynn Boylan on Thursday week, that will send a really clear signal to the government that people are not happy with their failed housing policies and they want to change the direction. And of course, this by-election is just a taste of things to come. At some point, there's going to be a general election. And if you want to see the thousands of affordable homes delivered on an annual basis that not just Sinn Féin, but other organisations are calling for, then of course, we need to do more than just elect Lynn Boylan in the Dublin Bay South by-election. But we need to change the government and put Sinn Féin in the driving seat to ensure that into the future, the 20,000 public homes that we believe is needed every single year until this crisis is resolved will get delivered. So look, folks, if you're out there in housing need, if you're looking to rent or buy and you've been hit by bad news today, then what I would urge you to do is don't be deflated, don't be resigned. Change is possible. Change is possible in Dublin Bay South in 2 weeks' time, and change is possible the next time a general election comes round. So get involved in the campaign for affordable housing, get involved in the campaign for a change of government, and join Sinn Féin and ensure that this time next year house prices have fallen because a new government with a better housing policy is delivering